Welcome to session 23 of Mastering Mandelbulb 3D Formulas. We have a lot of abilities to have different formulas. There's like 468 of these formulas, and certainly the looking at each of these formulas is interesting enough. Okay, when we get one object on the screen, that's pretty interesting right there. The Mandelbulb 3D application gives us the ability to mix those formulas. Now, I use the term mix very, very broadly because there's different ways of actually mixing the formulas. It comes down to this. If you take a look at our screen here, we have three different what are called hybrid modes. One is alternate, the other is interpolate, and the other is DEcombinate. Now, all this time so far, we've been hovering on the alternate hybrid mode, which means essentially that in alternate, what's happening is that each of the assigned formulas, now an assigned formula would be a formula slot with a formula in it. All right, and let's just pick, oh, here we go. We got Beth 2422, so that's the second formula. All this means in alternate means, all that it means when we're in alternate hybrid mode is that in this particular case, come on, all of the pixels for integer power will be laid on the screen. And then the application will go off and it will lay all the pixels down on the screen for, in this case, Beth 2422. If you have a pixel from integer power that Beth 2422 overlays or overwrites, the Beth 2422 pixel wins. If there is no pixel for Beth 2422, then there's no pixel on the screen. This then, alternate mode, could be thought of as a layering. It's a layering mode where you're taking one Mandelbulb fractal object and you're layering multiple objects on top of one another. You can get some very interesting shapes that way, all right? But it's a layering. And what's key to remember with the alternate hybrid mode is that whatever formula runs after, that is, if you look here, formula 1's going to run, then formula 2's going to run, then formula 3's going to run if it has an assignment. If there's no formula assigned, obviously formula 3 does not execute. Okay? But formula 1 will lay down its object, formula 2 will lay down its object, and they're layered on top of one another. And you can get some very interesting results by layering formulas. Let's try it. Let's just stick with this. Integer power and Beth 2422. I don't know what it's going to look like. I'm going to leave all of my settings down here. I'm going to just leave them to default, and let's execute it and see what happens. Okay. So what I've effectively done here is I have layered two formulas on top of one another. Now, I don't have the ability to really kind of turn this off. Maybe I can do a zero internet iteration count. Let's see what happens. Okay, good. All right. I just want to kind of show you now. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn the iteration count off for integer power. So that means that it should not execute. Or I mean, the Mandelbulb 3D will attempt to run it, but it won't there's no iterations. And I'm going to come over to Beth 2422, and I'm going to put that iteration count to 1. So we should see only the Beth2422 object has been written to the screen. All of the pixels have been written to the screen only for Beth2422. Just so you understand now, formula slot number 2, I've got 1 iteration count, which is all that particular fractal needs to render on the screen. I have effectively turned off integer power by giving an iteration count of 0. All right, so that what's on the screen represents Beth2422. Let me reverse that. I'm going to do Beth2422 0 iterations and integer power 1 iteration, and I should see, and there is integer power alone. Now, I'm going to come back over to formula number 2, Beth2422. I'm going to give that 1 iteration. So what I'm going to have is, I'm going to have integer power that's been written to the screen, and then I'm going to have Beth2422 written to the screen on top of. Let's run it. All right. All right. Integer power rendered to the screen. Beth2422 rendered to the screen. The pixels were effectively mixed together. All right. Where Beth24 wanted to write an identical pixel to the identical pixel location, it overwrote it. If it wrote a pixel to where integer power didn't write a pixel, then that pixel's added to the screen. And so now we can see that the graphic is more complex because I've actually layered 2 different Mandelbulb objects on top of one another. I can continue to do this up to 6 formulas. So let's go to formula slot number 3. Let's pick, I don't know, Calzi sets 1. Let's execute that. All right, let's go to slot number 4. Let's pick BT Pine. Calculate. All right, slot number 5. Let's go, I don't know. Let's do a Sierpinski 4. Okay. Slot number 6. All I'm doing is proving here that you can layer up to 6 different formulas at a time. I don't know. Let's try ASurf mod 1. All right. Now that I didn't plan any of that. I just kind of picked those formulas at random because I just wanted to show you that what I've done here is I have layered 6 formulas, all right, to give me that one image. Now it's important to note that what I've done here is I've done a 6-layer alternate hybrid mode. I've done a 6 layers of formulas. But these formulas don't interact with one another. They produce the object, they print it to the screen, to produce the next formula, printed to the screen. They are not interacting with one another. And they're not interacting with one another because if you note here, I did not choose any transform formulas. Formula number 1, get on 1, integer power. You don't see an underscore in front of any of those. All right. I did not, in the alternate hybrid mode, I did not choose any transform formulas. None of these formulas impact the other in terms of the math. They're simply created, written to the screen, created, written to the screen, created, written to the screen, and like that, okay? Think of the alternate hybrid mode as a layering, assuming that you're not using transforms. If you use transforms, they're not layering anymore. You've got a transform that's impacting the math of one of the formulas, then it layers. I'll tell you what, let's end this session right here, and when we come back, we're going to stay in alternate hybrid mode, but we'll throw some transforms in there. Let's see what happens, okay? I'll see you in the next session.